Hey, everyone. I'm Ria Mittal, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching. Welcome to Go Global Day 4. So, yeah, this is our last day. It has come to an end, and we cannot end our event before we cover Australia, which is one of the upcoming marketplaces in Amazon. So, yes, I'm Ria Mittal. I work as a product evangelist at SellerApp. And for whoever is watching right now, let me know in the comment section below where you're watching from. So the last 3 days have been intense. We did not anticipate the amount of traction we have gotten. So YouTube is going crazy, and our seller app people are just like so overwhelmed with the love that you've given us. So thank you so much for all the support. And the next event is just going to get bigger and crazier. So let me give you a quick recap of what has happened till now. So day one was all about United States of America, how you can get started in it. We had three amazing speakers, and that session is still getting a lot of hits. You should definitely go see that right now, after the event, actually, not right now. So, and the second day was all about the state of global e commerce. If you need any help with e commerce selling, the current statistics, and everything else. So, that session is very informative. If you are planning to expand your business, these are some things and stats that you need to keep in mind before expanding. And the third day, which was yesterday, was all about EU and UK. So we had a great lady session. We had Anna, we had Yana, and we had Yale. So we spoke about everything that you need to know about the second biggest marketplace on Amazon. So did you guys know that Germany is the second biggest marketplace that comes after United States, and it's not UK that's the biggest marketplace? I was shocked, and there were so many new information that was dropped in yesterday's session. You should go ahead and see that right now. I mean, after this today's session. So, of course, day four, we have Regina with us. She was one of the first people who tested Amazon Australia, and she's going to help you get started on the platform as well. So, there are a couple of things that you need to know before you start selling on the marketplace. We have PPC, listing optimization, things about the marketplace that you need to know, because sometimes excitement takes over your logical bit of the brain. So, you need to understand how a marketplace functions, everything that you need to know before you even consider start selling in that marketplace. So Australia is upcoming, it is very new, and I can see so much potential in that marketplace. So without further ado, let me invite Regina on the screen right now. Also, for those of you watching right now, let me know where you're from in the comment section below. Regina, you're on the screen right now. Hi.
Hi, thanks. So thrilled to be here. How are you?
We're glad to have you. So Regina was one of the first people who tested the platform when Amazon released in Australia, right?
Yes, in fact, I was their first third-party seller, and I helped Amazon here in Australia in conjunction with the US in testing their systems, in uploading products, in seller sign-ups, and the Australian platform was actually built on the Japanese platform. So for the first little while, we were getting all of our error messages back in Japanese. So that was fun.
Wow. Wow. So you have been there since the beginning. So I know that you know the ins and outs of the platform, and I'm glad. We're so honored to have you. So Regina, could you please introduce yourself and talk about what you'll be covering today? And Anish is joining us from UAE. Thank you for being here, Anish. So yes, Regina, go ahead and introduce yourself and what we're covering today. Yeah.
Hi, Anish. I have very fond memories of the Emirates. I did spend some time there, so glad to see you from there. Um, yes, my name is Regina Peterbergsky. I am based in Australia and have been selling on Amazon since 2015 in the US, 2016 in the UK, and as I mentioned a minute ago, was the first third-party seller here in Australia when they launched in December 2017. And I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the Australian marketplace as a whole, what's going on in Australia in terms of e-commerce, and how Amazon sits within that ecosystem.
Amazing. Regina, I'm so excited to have you today. So, before we begin the session, there are some things that I would like to discuss with you. Um,
Sure.
Beginning with why we need to start selling in Australia. So, let's talk a little bit about consumer behavior and customer behavior. So, have you seen? I mean, I'm new to the marketplace, so I don't have much knowledge about it. But do you think customers prefer brick and mortars over Amazon in Australia? Because that was a trend we saw in UK and EU, but it has changed significantly since last year. So what about what's happening in Australia?
Well, look, in Australia, people still go to a lot of bricks and mortar. However, we have a very high uptake of e-commerce selling. Um, However, I'll cover this when I get to my slides a little bit later in more detail. However, Amazon is not nearly as well known in Australia yet by consumers as it is in other marketplaces. So we still have a long way to go. In Australia, consumers are very comfortable buying from branded websites, so Shopify, WooCommerce, very happy to buy from brands directly. And we have a number of different marketplaces that do very well. So I think for any brand that's coming into Australia, they really need to look at a more holistic approach rather than looking at just at Amazon.
Yeah, and I
But
obviously
yeah,
oh yeah, so
yeah, sorry,
obviously
but I was just saying, but there are lots of opportunities. Yes.
amazing, because I think a new upcoming marketplace is the best time for you to start selling, because I wouldn't say United States is saturated, but in some categories which are popular, it is very saturated in United States. And EU and UK, I have seen sellers make more sales compared to United States in EU and UK. So I'm sure that Australia is going to catch up on very soon, and this is the time where it's not that stringent on rules. You can use capital bullet points hopefully in the listing as well. So yeah, I think it's more free for you to start selling in Amazon Australia.
Mm, uh,
No?
it's got pluses and minuses.
Right.
So on the one hand, yes, that there's opportunity to expand niches, but on the other hand, our population is quite small, and so the traffic is quite low, and the uptake of Amazon Prime here is quite a lot lower than it is in, say, I think in the US. I think Prime is like 50 to 60% of
Yeah.
households. In Australia, it's closer to 2%.
Oh,
So it's very
wow.
low uptake still. Well, we don't know. We're just guessing because Amazon doesn't release those figures. But based on our sort of loose guesstimates, it's quite the numbers are still quite low, but they are coming up.
Amazing. So Jose here says that he's back and excited. Australia is one of the marketplaces we're considering for expansion in addition to you. So congratulations on doing so well on Amazon, Jose, that you're planning to expand. And I think it is your duty as an Amazon seller to keep expanding and keep exploring new opportunities for your business. And I think expanding to different marketplaces could be one of them. So of course, this is why Go Global came into picture. And we have Regina here who is going to be talking about how to start selling on Amazon. So yes, let's get started. Regina, you can share
I
your
see
screen
there's
now.
an I see I see there's an awesome question here from Anish, and it's a very valid question. And please remind me to come back to that question at the end
Yep,
of the presentation because it's a really good question, and I've got the answer for you. Okay, let me.
perfect.
So what am I doing? I'm sharing my screen. Please bear with
Yep.
me with the technology.
Oh, that's okay. I can
Okay,
cover for you till then. So, for people who are
great.
watching right now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and we will answer the questions when Regina is done presenting. Regina, I see your screen now. Yes, thank
You
you,
can see my
Nish.
screen.
I can.
Okay, all right. Let me just put present. Okay. Whoops. You ready?
Still waiting for your screen.
Can
Yep,
you?
there you go. I can
Can
see
you,
it now. You're ready to
can you s-
present.
I am ready to present.
Yep.
Okay, good to go. Okay, so here we go. Amazon Australia. Welcome. Just to quickly go back about me. I have an Amazon business. I also have a podcast on Amazon. That's my little plug for myself. My background is actually in business. I was actually in a bricks and mortar fashion retail business, and I started my first online store in 2007. It was actually put together by my brother-in-law with tape and string back in the day. I think I was a little bit ahead of my time, and I made, I think, 0 sales from that store, but I learned a lot. I actually started private label selling on Amazon US in 2015, expanded to UK and Europe, and then was Australia's first third party Amazon seller when they launched in December 2017. I'm a solo mum and I juggle all of that as well as hosting the podcast. A little bit about me. So a little bit about Amazon Australia. So just overall, Amazon Global, as we know, and I'm sure that over the last few days you guys have seen these numbers. You know, it's an amazing platform for anybody who's getting into any kind of physical product sales, with 95 million product searches per month. And they're estimating that, 50% or more of households in the US actually have Prime. There's, over 310 active customer accounts worldwide, could be more. I think didn't they reach 100 million Prime members last year globally? I think I heard that number. It may have actually gone over that. Mm-hmm. And they are now making up, over 2 million third-party marketplace sellers. And as you can see, all over the world now, it seems like every week they're announcing a new country that they're launching. And we know that Amazon is pretty much, disrupting retail globally. And Jeff Bezos, even after his divorce, where he had to give away half of his money, is still the richest man in the world as of, I think, yesterday. All right. So things are happening. So a little bit about Australia, if you don't know. We're a big land mass, but a small population. We actually have less people living here than California. So just to put it into perspective, most of our population lives on the outer coastlines on the east coast. And then we have sort of the west coast with Perth with just over 1 million people. We are high adopters of online shopping, very much so. And with 2020 and COVID, that grew significantly as well. And even sort of people who have previously not purchased online are now more open to purchasing online. And I think compared to other parts of the world, Australians are more open to purchasing directly from brands' own website. Our marketplace leader is eBay. eBay's been here for a very, very long time. So Amazon Australia themselves launched in December 2017, and there was a lot of hoo-ha. However, unfortunately, they got a little bit of bad press, and a lot of people were disappointed. And it was a chicken and the egg situation, because the catalogue initially was quite limited, with not all categories were available, and that's still happening. There's not all categories are available. And so the consumer was not able to get the variety. However, the revenue has grown, and in 2020, Australian marketplace did over $1.2 billion, which is, more than double of the previous year. So, the growth is definitely there. So they're predicting in the next 2 years to be at $4 billion in revenue. And we're estimating that at the moment there's about 600 million, so about half of the sales are being sold by third-party sellers. And this is where the next bullet point is interesting, in that we're only estimating about 150 or so thousand Prime members in Australia. So that's less than 2%. What that tells me is at the moment it's slow, but there's a huge potential. As we, in America, it's 50 to 60%, if not more, households have Prime. I'm not sure what the numbers were in UK and Europe. But there's definitely a lot of potential. At the moment, I think there's only 4 fulfillment centres, but by the end of this year, there will be 6 FBA centres. In fact, I got an email, I think yesterday, from Amazon Australia that they are opening a second one in Melbourne, where I am. So there's probably likely to be more than 6 by the end of the year. So Amazon Australia themselves are very happy with their growth, and they are investing very heavily in their services here. So in 2020, all of the online marketplace players, including Amazon, benefit here in Australia. We're estimating that eBay, which is by far the biggest marketplace here, estimated $6 billion in revenue, with Amazon second at 1.2, our third largest marketplaces, Catch, or they used to be called Catch of the Day. Then there's Kogan and MyDeal. So those are the biggest marketplaces available in Australia. And again, compared to other marketplaces, it's quite small. However, there's opportunities to be had. So in my experience and people that I've spoken to, what works best on Amazon Australia is for brands that have a large number of SKUs. And also as, I've written as art, but it's actually as part of a larger marketplace strategy. And also if you're a distributor and you have access to a lot of brands, so if you're doing, say, wholesale, and you're able to access a lot of brands and upload a lot of SKUs, that's a great way to make money in Australia. In Australia, you very much need to go wide rather than deep. Okay, so I hope you understand what that means. It means you want to go with a large number of SKUs with smaller number of units per SKU, rather than have a smaller number of SKUs with large number of units, which you can easily do in some of the larger marketplaces. You can make some serious money with just a handful of SKUs. In Australia, that is a lot more difficult. And again, this is a chicken and the egg situation. The Australian FBA catalogue is not really broad. And so Amazon Australia is out there, and they're really pitching hard to all of the local brands and distributors to list on Amazon. And some of those brands that listed very early on and did not have luck and pulled out, they're being coaxed back on. And that's the reason why, after I think about 6 months, Amazon actually did open up international listings onto the local search results. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to give the Australian consumer as broad a catalogue as possible, and make up the difference as to what the Australian sellers are able to provide. Now, if there is an Australian FBA listing, it does get priority in search. And here's I think I did a search for gifts for girls, and this is what the international listings look like. So it does state that it's an international listing, and it's only $49 for free international shipping. So it's not a big stumbling block. So for most people, they will buy 1 or 2 items to get free shipping for international. The downside, of course, is it does take longer. So that's what Amazon Australia is telling sellers, to encourage them to bring product into Australia and to put it into Australian FBA, is that consumers will choose the faster delivery. And in fact, the delivery here has been amazing. We're getting, even though they're advertising 2-day free Prime, we are actually getting deliveries within 24 hours. I've placed orders of an afternoon, and it's arrived at my doorstep the next day in the morning. So the deliveries, certainly in the metropolitan areas, are very, very fast, and they're delivering 7 days a week. So that's the benefit of having a local FBA presence. For private label sellers, again, you really need to weigh up what your return on investment is. If you're a private label seller with only a small number of SKUs, and you're going to be investing in inventory and shipping to a small marketplace like Australia, I know personally myself, I'm actually very soon to be pulling out of Australia because I only have a very small number of SKUs. And so for me personally, I actually get a better return on investment for my inventory funds by sending my inventory to other larger marketplaces. However, now is also a great opportunity to stake the claim and to make your products available in a new growing marketplace. So you really need to weigh up whether you want to be going really, really broad into different marketplaces, or you want to focus on a higher return on investment and turnover. So it's really something for each individual seller to think about. In terms of the Seller Central backend, Australia is linked via the unified account. So you can just activate that through your US or UK account. We do have brand registry here. It is available. And I believe it's possible. In fact, I know it's possible because I did it. I actually used my US trademark because I already had brand registry in the US. I was able to add my Australian account to that same trademark and brand registry. The product catalogs are linked, so your reviews are shared, which is fantastic. If you've got a product that's already selling in other marketplaces that has a lot of reviews, that launching in Australia makes it really simple. And with pay-per-click, we pretty much have the same availability now, and video ads were just in the last month or 6 weeks or so made available to brand registered accounts. So we pretty much have everything available here that's available in the US. My recommendations are, if you're coming into the Australian marketplace, is to really look at, as I said, a unified approach and look at the other marketplaces that are also available as well as Amazon. So my recommendation would be to ship your inventory to a third party warehouse that can do fulfillment for other marketplaces for you. So my recommendation would be to ship, a third to a half only to Amazon, and then sell on Capture the Day, Kogan, and eBay as well, with your 3PL doing fulfillment for you. eBay absolutely forbids shipping from FBA. FBA here in Australia will do multi-channel fulfillment orders. They will do them for you. However, every time I've tried it with my eBay sales, I've had a rap on the knuckles from eBay. I'm not quite sure how they figure it out, but they do. So that is something you want to be aware of. So that would be my recommendation, is to list across more than just Amazon if you're a private label seller. And things to consider. In Australia, we do have, similar to the UK, we have a GST, which is a 10%. So it's half of what the UK VAT is. We have a 10% GST. And I'm not an accountant. I do recommend you talk to your accountant in terms of how to set up your corporate structure here in Australia and whether you need to register for GST. I do believe that if you're a local corporation, there is a threshold where you don't need to register for GST. However, I'm not sure whether that applies to foreign entities that are trading here. So Dolman Bateman is an Australian accounting firm that specialises in dealing with Amazon sellers. So that would be the one that I would recommend that you talk to, unless you have your own accounting firm that understands Australia and how it works. But Dolman Bateman is pretty much the accounting firm based in Sydney that have set their stamp on this marketplace in terms of Amazon sellers. They're Amazon sellers themselves, so they understand how it works, and they handle the accounts globally for a lot of Amazon sellers. There is limited research capability with third-party tools here in Australia, although I do understand that that's growing. And again, as I mentioned, you do need to consider the return on investment for your catalogue. If you've got a wide catalogue, absolutely recommend coming here. And in terms of signing up, you can sign up, if you haven't already, for US and Australia via those links. Thank you.
Amazing. Just gonna get you on the screen again. So thank you so much for that presentation, Regina. I understand that eBay is more famous in Australia when compared to Amazon. And I just have one question.
Now,
Why do
I
you
can't
think
now. I can't see anything. Are you getting me back on? Well, I'm only seeing my screen there.
you have to stop sharing your screen and then you can click back on the restroom
I
icon? Yeah.
did. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right, gotcha. Right, okay.
Hey, welcome back. So,
I'm back. All this
yeah,
technology.
I completely understand. I mean, I completely understand. So, when it comes to selling on Amazon in Australia, why do you think there is not much noise when it comes to Amazon Australia when compared to eBay? Is it because Amazon like launched pretty late in
Yeah,
Australia?
Amazon is new.
Uh-huh.
Amazon is new. They've been here for over 3 years. eBay's been here for 20 something years. They've been here for a long, long time. And
Right.
as you saw in those numbers that I gave you, they've sort of, 5 times the volume last year of of Amazon. So, but Amazon is growing. So and also from the consumers don't know yet. I mean, Amazon does have, and they have been doing a lot of ads to consumers to encourage them to buy.
Mhm.
And where we think it's going to really happen is, they're encouraging people to buy Prime because people get the Prime Video, and then of course
Right.
they like the 2-day free shipping. Because the thing is, when people are buying from websites, shipping in Australia is very expensive, and in fact, it's just gone up again.
Uh-huh.
So websites either have to include, like if I'm selling my product on Amazon, I actually have to sell it for more on eBay because people don't like to pay for shipping, so you've got to include the cost of the shipping in the price
Shipping
of the
and
product. So I price it more expensive on other marketplaces in order to cover shipping costs.
so
So from a consumer's point of view, I don't know why they wouldn't all have Prime, but that's because I understand it. But it's going to take a while. But Amazon themselves, when I talk to the Amazon reps here in Australia, they're very happy with their growth.
really okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
so
In fact, I think Amazon Australia was the best launch they'd had when they launched. They were so happy with their
wow,
launch, so it was beyond what they'd expected. So that's good.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, are the products marked cheaper? Like, if I'm a seller, will my products be cheaper on Amazon when compared to eBay if I am looking to buy as a consumer, that is? So, I think if you have Prime, it will be cheaper to sell on Amazon when compared to eBay. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, well, Prime for me, because my products are small, when I was
Mhm.
doing my costings, the seller fees are about the same between
Okay.
Amazon and eBay. Um, but what I have to pay for Australia Post to ship my parcel from eBay is more than what I pay FBA to have my
Right.
products at Amazon.
Okay.
So yes,
Cool. Thank you so
but
much
but
for
but
answering
everybody, depending on the size of their product, everybody needs to make their own sort of decisions. And again,
that.
if you're using a 3PL warehouse to ship your products from eBay, then you've got to consider those costs as well.
Amazing. Right. So, for those of you listening right now, I highly suggest you check out Regina's podcast. And she covers so much of information, and it's just amazing to hear as well. So, yes, Regina, thank you for being here again. So, let's answer some questions. So, as promised, Anish, here's a question. Thank you for being here, first most. Almost all listings on Amazon Australia showing as international shipment, no FBA. Why is that? Because there are a lot of opportunities for seller who are planning to sell for FBA or not. So in Regina's presentation, we did see that there was a listing for girls' toys, which was based on international sellers. So what do you
Yeah,
think?
look, I think it's very category specific, Anish. So it depends on what category you're looking at, and you're right. In some categories, there are no local FBA sellers, in which case it's an amazing opportunity for somebody to come in and do that. And in fact, I know there are a couple of people here in Australia that's pretty much their business model, is they're finding those um, gaps in the market where all of the listings are showing as international, and they're trying to source those products to bring them here to sell them locally with FBA. Because obviously, from a consumer's point of view, the consumer would much rather buy locally because it's faster shipping. So that is an opportunity, absolutely.
Right. So Anish wants to understand some category trends on the platform as well. So can you tell which categories sells the most on Amazon Australia?
Look, at the moment, when I had a look at brand registry, the number one keyword at the moment is Lego. So Lego is the number one. It seems to be toys and gifts are sort of like a big. The accounting firm is Dolman Bateman, Dolman Bateman.
Dolman Bateman.
Dolman Bateman.
Bateman, like
Yeah,
from the American
and
Psycho. Mhm.
and I'm just trying to remember I interviewed the principal, and he's like a really cool guy. I've forgotten his name. If you go back through my podcast, one of my earlier episodes, I actually interviewed him about not so much about Amazon Australia, but we were talking about just accounting for Amazon sellers.
Right. And I think it's really important to get in content when you start selling in different marketplaces. As we spoke yesterday as well, for EU and UK, it is very important because their tax systems, I'm sure it's the same thing in Australia as well. So it's really important to get that straight and right and informed right away rather than, stumbling upon it later. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You want to make sure you have that accounting set up in advance, so you know what you're going to do, and to whether you need to file quarterly or annually for your GST. So there's a question: is SellerApp available in Australia, Ria?
Yeah, SellerApp keyword research is available for Australia. So, of course, if you want to understand which category has the most demand or which keyword you can rank for, you can just go to our tool and type in, and it'll give you relevant results as well. So, thank you for taking up that question, Regina. So, the next one is by Joel. Thank you for being here, Joel. I've been looking into Amazon Australia Marketplace. Is FBA beneficial for a new seller?
So a brand new seller completely to Amazon wanting to start in Australia, my recommendation would be to start in a bigger marketplace. I think for the time and investment you're going to make in private labeling a product, you're going to get more bang for your buck in one of the larger marketplaces, especially if you're not based here in Australia.
Right.
I know there are some Australian sellers who are based here who can take inventory into their garages, and they can, sell on eBay and other marketplaces without having to pay for a 3PL warehouse. So it's easier for them. But if you're an international seller and it's your very first marketplace, unless you're prepared to or are able to source a lot of products at small MOQs, I wouldn't suggest Australia as a place to start. However, if you already are a seller and understand and can allocate some inventory to the Australian marketplace, then it's definitely worth your while. Or, like I mentioned before, in answer to Anisha's question, if you want to find some gaps in the market where there's no local FBA sellers, but there is demand, then that's also another great opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And what do you suggest? Oh, wait, I think I can hear myself in some screen.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. So, what do you suggest in people if we have anyone watching here who sells in eBay Australia? Would you suggest them to sell on Amazon as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if they're already selling on eBay, it's actually easier for them to sell on Amazon because, on eBay, they're still doing this whole multiple listings rather than the Amazon where there's the one catalog item. Um, so especially if they're a private label seller, yeah, absolutely. If you're already selling on eBay in Australia, why wouldn't you send some
Right.
product into FBA?
Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion as well. I would suggest the same thing. So, also for SellerApp
Mhm.
and being available in Australia, we do offer PPC services as well when it comes to Australian marketplaces. So, you can go ahead and use our tool, or you can write us to support@sellerapp.com, and we can get you help. We can help you get started on the platform as well. So, yes, that
Yeah, I
that's
mean, PPC in Australia, we're getting some really great. I mean, the problem with PPC in Australia is you can't spend the money fast enough because there's not enough clicks coming through,
oh wow.
um,
Okay.
and so the return on investment on PPC is really good here.
Right. So, yeah, I
The
think
the,
we
the
can
bids are
definitely. Yeah.
the bids are lower, but yeah, the bids are lower. You get, if you can, if there's traffic to the keywords that you're targeting, then you can get a really, really good ACOS at the moment in Australia.
Oh, that's amazing. So I see that there is some sunlight available in the platform as
Oh yeah,
well.
there is. Look, there's definitely opportunities here, without a doubt.
Perfect. So the next question is by ASJ Tech. Thank you for the video. Do you think the pet category is a good choice for Amazon Australia? We have already established that toys are. Regina, what do you think about
Yeah,
pet?
yeah. Look, absolutely. Look, we're a country of animal lovers. So absolutely, pet category would be an awesome choice. But again, caveat being, do your research. Like any marketplace. But yes, Australians, we love our animals.
Oh yeah, I love animals as well. I mean, flamingos right here. I love, love, love animals. So Regina, coming to the next question, it's from my end. What do you think is the ideal PPC budget when someone is planning to sell on Amazon Australia? What do you suggest them?
Look, how long is a piece of string? It depends on how expensive their product is, what
Right.
sort of margin they have in their product. It's not just the budget for the PPC, but it's like, what are you bidding? So um, I really can't answer that, but start with $5 on a campaign and see if you can spend it. As I said, I've never been able to spend the money that I've tried to spend on PPC.
That's a good thing, I think. Yeah, that's amazing. So
Well, look, if you're
usually
getting a really good
sellers
ACOS,
overspend.
like
Yeah.
here's the thing: if you can get an ACOS of 15 to 20% on a product where you've got a 50% margin, then that's what I call a money machine. So you want to be able to spend that as much as you can, but Amazon won't spend it because there just isn't enough clicks. Certainly in the category that I was playing in.
All right, that makes sense. So the next question is by Joseph. Fantastic last session for Go Global. Thank you for your support, Joseph. I have a question for Regina. How can I identify products that have high demand on the market? Well, you can do your research, but except that, what do you suggest, Regina?
Well, look, the main way here is do your research using tools. As you said, SellerApp is now available. Um, Also, if you have an account and have brand registry, that's really the tool that most of us here are using, because we can see through brand analytics what the keyword searches are. So that's sort of pretty much the best way. It's the same way as you would, on any marketplace, really. It has
Yeah,
been hard because we haven't had reliable third-party tools, but that's started to change now. So it's great.
amazing. And I love when you mentioned that, you need to find the gaps in the market and start selling the products
Yeah.
accordingly, which is really important because if your product is doing really well in United States or any other marketplace, it is doubtful that it will do very well in other marketplaces as well, because there you need to make sure you need to understand the behavior of the marketplace that you're planning to sell in. Like I mentioned yesterday, a case study that Nescafe did in Japan. So they tried launching coffee in Japan and did not work out very well because Japanese are originally tea drinkers. So you need to understand the behavior of the marketplace, what people like. Will your product even work there if the product that you're trying to sell in the marketplace even has a use for the users as well? So find the gaps, understand what if there's a demand, as Regina mentioned, and then you can fill in the gaps by selling on Amazon in Australia. So thank you, Regina, for that wonderful advice. Yeah. So before
Welcome.
we end the session, do you have anything else to add? And if you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comment section below. And Regina, do you have anything more to add before we close the session? You could also talk about your podcast, which I love, love, love.
Oh, thank you. Look, my podcast is the Women on Amazon, and I have the Facebook group. You're all welcome to join me in my Facebook group. And in my podcast, I interview mostly women, but not exclusively, Amazon sellers who have been through and had some success, some more than others. And I also interview interesting guests who talk about, generally Amazon globally. So, it's free, available on all the podcasting apps that are out there. So, thank you for your support.
Yeah, and if you are an Amazon seller right now, could I ask them to send you an email so they can also be part of your podcast if you find them interesting enough?
Yeah, look, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, my email is just regina@womenonamazon.com. So it's very simple. You can find me on Facebook. I'm the only one with that name. Um, I also run Clubhouse rooms. If
Oh,
you're on
yeah.
Clubhouse, you can find me on Clubhouse. just under Women on Amazon is my handle, and I have a club on Clubhouse, funnily enough, called Women on Amazon.
Amazing.
And I do host a weekly room.
We had an all women session yesterday. We would have loved for you to be there, but it was all about EU and UK. We should do this more often. We
Oh,
could
look,
have
and you
all
know,
women session.
all of the girls you had, I know those girls, and we
I
often
know.
do stuff together.
Yeah.
So it was lovely to see that you have so many women speakers on this event. So that's been actually really awesome.
Right. Thank you. So one last question before we end the session. I'm guessing that opportunities are most in Australian marketplaces, um, since it's newer compared to US. So niche opportunities are more in Australian marketplaces. What do you think? Um,
Look, I think, to be honest, I think for Australia to make some serious money, you can go niche, but I wouldn't go too niche just because our population is so small. I
yes.
would really rather go broad rather than deep. If again, I'm using that same, in terms of catalog. In the US, you can make $1 million with 2 or 3 products. In Australia, it's look, it's possible. However, you're more likely to make $1 million with 1,000 SKUs,
Well,
right?
makes sense.
Doing 2 or 3 units a day, right?
Yeah, because Australia is more saturated when compared to United States of America or EU or Germany. So I do not think you should be concentrating more on your niche unless it has a demand for it. Then go ahead. But then
Yeah,
again, going broad is better for now because Australia is not as saturated since it's a new
yeah,
marketplace. Yeah.
yeah,
So I think
absolutely. There is definitely opportunities to go broad here. Yeah.
perfect. So we have another comment from 80 that says, "Thanks, Regina. Wonderful information." So thank you for being here, everyone.
Thanks, Sadie.
Yeah. Oh, we have one more question. Okay. How to ship India to Australia and Japan? That is from Javed. Um, that's a question.
In the same way that you would ship to anywhere else. We have ports, we have airports, so you can put on a plane. If you can find a plane to put it on, you can put it on a ship. With shipping agents, we have a very, most of our things are imported. So just find yourself a shipping agent, and I'm sure there are some in India that can help. And we do a lot of imports from India here, so it's not complicated.
Right. And you can also check out our partner Novoland for supply chain management, and they will help you in supply chain management if you need help with that as well. So, yes, thank you so much for being here, Regina. This was such an informative session. And for those of you who are watching right now, go ahead and check out our other sessions as well that we did. You can also check out our playlist that we have made for this event as well. Do not forget to register for the event because the goodie bag goes out on Monday, and the goodie bag has all the important information that you need. We have important dates for the selling year. We have comparison charts. We have all the PPTs that you saw in at the event, this week's event. So make sure that you're registered. Registrations end tomorrow at 12 p.m. EST time. So make sure that you're registered before that. Thank you so much for being here, Regina. I will be ending the session
Well,
now.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel. We're close to 10K subscribers. We are about to make it big on YouTube as well. So thank you for being here. Do not forget to check out SellerApp for some free tools and our services, which will help you scale your businesses on Amazon. And until next time, happy selling. Bye bye.